The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On May 14th and 15th, the StarCityGames.com Open Series comes to Orlando, and this event is going to be huge. We're talking hundreds of players, over $14,000 in cash prizes, at least 18 players qualified for their choice of either StarCityGames.com invitationals, live coverage all day courtesy of SCG Live, tons of side events, and as much Magic the Gathering as we can pack into one weekend. So make plans to join StarCityGames.com in Orlando, and we'll see you there. So welcome back, everybody, to our new Phyrexia review. I'm here with Player of the Year, Brad Nelson. He's the best. He's awesome. All right, so we're going to talk
that every time.
Every time, because he's sweet. And today we're going to talk about active aggression because it starts off all red cards in new Phyrexia, and again, a really awesome card that's not really red.
Yeah, it's
going to be not in red decks.
It seems sweet. Like white aggression decks can now take someone's Primeval Titan and. You could sideboard like 3 active aggressions and like 2 Teetering Peaks in your mono white deck. And get them.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think it gives like red decks, even sometimes might actually be played in red decks, answers to things like Baneslayer Angel, but they already have stuff like Market Mutiny. So this is really for me like green decks need answers to Baneslayer Angel.
Well, there is one interesting thing about this that it's like Ray of Command, where it's instant speed. You can take a guy, untap, block. You can get like a really cool combat trick out of it, and then you can take something at end of turn, and then use your mana the next turn. So like you can actually steal the Primeval Titan at end of turn.
Oh, unfortunately,
you can't
because it's until end of turn.
Okay, well I'm going to cheat then because I really want to do that.
That would be totally sweet. I can just do what the card doesn't let me do.
Yeah,
it'd be sweet.
Okay, can we edit that?
That'd be great. It'd be awesome.
If we could edit that,
we totally would. So Artilleries is next. Hi, we're giggly. And we are going to talk about essentially about the Shrapnel Blast / Goblin Grenade for creatures.
I love I want to play this in block. Okay, so my mind's a lot on block now. We got a Pro Tour coming up.
Yeah, so you can't help but sort of lean that way.
But you can still do this in fun formats. Like I want to just play Nacre Wellspring and then kill something and draw an extra card. You
Yay!
know? And the ability to be able to sacrifice any creature and any artifact. And we all know that Shrapnel Blast was a little bit too good.
For 2 mana, it was pushed.
And so this is the fair version. And it's still going to be good. Don't compare it to Shrapnel Blast because it's like, oh, this costs 4, so therefore it's just worse. Well, that was an unfair time in Magic. Like we're
I played the big red deck back then with Arc Sloggers and Shrapnel Blasts and, whatever.
Well, I played Affinity. I played the good deck.
Well, yeah, obviously. I know. So Bludgeon Brawl is next. This card is really weird. I love how Bludgeon Brawl, because it's so weird, you can just make stupid things happen. Like, if you play Liquid Metal Coating and you had, like, Nicol Bolas out, like, you could make Nicol Bolas an artifact and then attach Nicol Bolas to something. That'd be totally sweet. It doesn't have to make sense to be awesome.
It doesn't.
That's right. Speaking of awesome, alright, so Chancellor of the Forge, it's wacky. Chancellor of the Forge is, it's there are some people who are legitimately excited about this card.
I think it's very good. Like, you think about, like, turn 1, just getting a 1/1 Haste Goblin and start attacking with it, that's pretty strong. And then, like, even later in the game, it seems like the block version of a Grave Titan, where you just get a lot of creatures and you get some value out of it. Yeah. Like, even 3 or 4 creatures and you attack with them. And, I mean, he's really big to come with an army.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really powerful...
and
really
the army that he comes with has haste, which is nice, too. Which is important. But, for me, it's just like, I mean, do we really want to play these, like in the red deck? I mean, do we...
It depends. Like, I think Magic is going to change. Like, Jace and Primeval Titan have this lock on a lot of these cards. They're all chained up right now.
Yeah.
A lot of these cards you're going to want to pick up for the anticipation of once standard changes. And, there's a lot of 7 and 8 drops in this format. So I think they're going to be good. I think we are going to see a time in Magic where we're just, just dropping fatties, just throwing them all over the board. And
my favorite Chancellor is still coming in green, but for what it's worth, like this, I think it's like the white one I'm just personally just dismissing, but this one I think could have potential, as far as a playable Chancellor in some sort of constructed format. Fallen Pharaohmancer, however, is a Pinger Infect guy.
Yeah, he's real sweet.
He'd be so good limited. So good. Wow.
Not only can he, infect a player, He's like, I mean, we all know how good Vidalcan Anatomist is in Limited. I mean, the tap is really crucial, but still being able to ping a creature down is just great. And like this guy does the same thing,
but he hits players.
But he hits players for Infect, and like I think there's going to be a lot of decks that are going to be able to deal Infect and non-Infect, and this guy helps you push that way.
Yeah, helps you sort of go either way. Either way you'd like. So meanwhile, there's a Crawlworm.
It's Alpha Tyrannex.
Ooh, it's Alpha Tyrannex in red. For Flameborn Byron. Whee! So insects and dinosaurs. That's where it's going to be balanced. So Furnace
Seems like a really bad Japanese movie. Just like.
So this is the really bad Japanese movie deck that I drafted. Furnace Camp is another one of those, like, sneaks in, sacks it, does something.
I like this guy.
Do you?
I really like him. He, he deals 4 on his own to a player. Like, just on turn 2, you can just get there, get the lightning, get that. He helps. He's like a lava spike in the fact that you can just put all the burn cards in a red deck and you have a lot of reach. And he's that one drop that can help you get there because there's a lot of decks out there that, you're not going to block it with your Lotus Cobra.
Right.
Like, it comes down early enough to where it can probably get around some of the early drops. There's not a lot of 1-drops in Standard.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I love Goblin Bushwhacker a lot. And so every time I see a red dude, I just go like, and what if you played Bushwhacker with it? And then he would deal 5. Like, that would be awesome. But actually just leads me into Geosurge, which I think is just like the best like Bushwhacker card ever. Because you're just like going to Geosurge into like Molten Steel Dragon or something and just get you. Like, that card, I love that card. I just think this is actually, maybe bring some of the red aggro decks, give them more explosion, sort of like explosive, like, okay, you tapped out for whatever, and now I just make 7 mana and dudes and blade splicers and bushwhackers and
we just talked about Chancellor, and that costs 7 manas. Get a goblin,
right there on the
figure
sheet.
It out, yeah.
See?
Yes, you see it.
I see where you're going with this. See, you can actually show me how these cards work together. That's why we got you here, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Evan, you realize these 2 cards work together too, right? Gutshot is next. Gutshot is, how good would this card be in Limited?
It seems, I think it'll see play. I mean, it might not make the man in everywhere, but there are a lot of 1/1s out there, and just being able to get rid of them. But it's another one of those cards, like, you have trouble dealing with Plague Stinger. Out of your blue deck. You don't have the flyers. You don't, just board this in, get it. Get rid of, like, the Infect guys that are giving you problems. I don't know if this card's going to see a ton of play, but I think it'll see enough to where, you're going to take it up there. It's going to be a 5th or 6th pick, I'm guessing.
Okay. I
Still
mean,
removable.
Will it actually work in Constructed at all, in any format?
I mean, you can't really argue that, like, a deck doesn't want, like, Burst Lightning's not seeing play. Lightning Bolt's taking all those slots. Like,
I don't see you taking out Lightning Bolt for this card. You know what I mean? Ever. And
no.
Yeah. So Invader Parasite is next. A card that those who like land death, such as Conley Woods and his infamous love of land destruction, would enjoy. This is a card that, like, if I can power it out with Lotus Cobra, it would be sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
and especially if, like, it's like a basic land deck.
Yeah.
Like, where mana's going, like, lands are going there in the next set. We don't have a lot of dual lands anymore. I think there's going to be a lot of basic lands running around. And, you take a mono blue deck's island, like, what are they going to do?
They're going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, they're going to take a lot of damage.
But I am a lot more excited for Molten Steel Dragon. This card is crazy good, in my opinion. Like, today I was reading where Mr. Chapin was talking about using Treasure Mage to go find it in a mono blue deck, which is not the worst thing.
Why aren't you just getting Worm Coil Engine?
That's a good question, but for what it's worth, I feel like this card, again, with Geosurge would be nice with a Goblin Bushwhacker. Get a little bit Goblin Bushwhacker. Just the fact that you can run it out on turn 4 and then, threaten 16 damage with 5 mountains and the rest of your 16 life, I mean, is huge.
Oh, yeah, I think you can steal some games. Yeah, you can definitely steal some games. And being able to sacrifice life for the power of getting this guy into play. Like, I think he's going to stay in his red decks.
Fair.
I really do. But I definitely see, this guy's going to be a scary guy. Like, good thing he's artifact, so we can deal with him a lot easily.
Exactly. But Ogre Menial is next. This is the...
I love this guy.
04
fire-breathing infect guy.
Yes, I mean, we have had a lot of mono red 0-4s lately. Like, we just had one, I forgot his name, but he was just a 0-4 for 3 that had fire breathing. And this guy gets so much better for more. Like, he did see a lot of play.
Yeah.
And you get late in a game where you've got a lot of mountains sitting in play, and you're like, oh, well, I'll just start sending them. And you keep them back with, like, one or two lands. Like, you don't want to attack a 2-2 and a 3-3 into that. Like,
Or
it's
more.
really scary, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's great both like in the red zone or just defending whenever. I mean, seems great. Priest of Urebrosk is really interesting to me. I like this card a lot with Mirror Superion that we'll get to later. And it's sort of ironic that it's both the Participation Game Day prize and then Mirror Superion as the top 8 prize.
Oh, do they work together or anything?
They might, I don't know. It's weird. It's crazy. But this is a card that, you know, I guess it's Priest of Gix was the other one that this is sort of mirroring, as it were.
I really want to play with this card, mostly because when I started playing Magic, somebody had a Priest of Gix deck. And this was, like, really nostalgic to me. This was, like, the first time I ever saw someone go, like, play 2 spells in a turn when I'm still trying to, like, build up to get my Crawworm into play, and he's like got 2 guys in play for 3 mana, and I'm like, something like clicked, and I'm
That's
like,
not fair.
Is he doing something that I'm not? You know?
Exactly, which is nice. Now, Rage Extractor. This is a card that, you know, I feel like it's a trap. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, it's one of those cards that it's probably very powerful if you can pump enough Phyrexian spells in your deck. You know, if you can sort of have enough in there.
This would be fun to try to make work for the fact that you get to, like, play on this edge of sacrificing life for power the whole game. You know, like, all game you can be like, all right, well, I'm at 8, but if I do this, I get to kill this, and then I can do this and try to deal him damage. And
right, I'll play this spell and deal him another 1 or 2.
This card just seems all fun. Like, you know, like, I'm getting kind of bored with, you know, dealing with Primeval Titans, dealing with chases all the time. I wouldn't mind having some casual magic. Like, I definitely would, like, if I open this, like, this weekend or next weekend for a draft, and you know, all right.
You only have 1 pack, you know, of Phyrexian spells, which I think is the real issue in terms of draft.
I know. Then I'm going to fill the rest of the deck with Furnace Celebration. And we're just going to, like, burn them out.
Whee! I'm going to get you. Which is cool. Razor Swine, 2/1 First Strike Infect for 3 mana. You know?
Seems very good. And for, like, we have Phyrexian Crusader. We know how good First Strike and Infect is.
Yeah.
He doesn't deal with 3/3s as well as Phyrexian Crusader does, which, you know,
unfortunate.
Yeah, and which is fair because Phyrexian Crusader's insane and this is a common. But he's definitely going to be scary. I think he comes down real early.
Yeah. And
only like the other scary infect creature in the format is the only thing that protects you from it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think he's gonna do some real business. Oh no, it doesn't even protect you against it. No. He beats Cisbear.
Whoa. He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he beats Cisbear.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's nice. Well, that's good. I mean, you know, that the Reds 3-drop can beat the Greens sort of premium 3-drop.
Yeah.
Or was always thought of. Ruthless Invasion is really interesting. Again, maybe not even for the red decks, you know?
It seems like a sideboard card in a limited deck that matters. Like, this is the weird can't block card that I could see being in Constructed just for the fact that it says non-artifact, you're going to get through.
Yeah.
You know, like... I
don't
know.
Swinging for the win, like, you know, it's fine, right? I mean, it's Falter.
I would much rather, instead of run this card, just run some Hedron Crabs, run some Artifacts, and Scrapyard Salvo. Come on, that's what you think about. That's what you think about. Like, you want to Hedron Crab this thing up.
You want to, like, Mondo combo this card.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's the Slag Fiend, which is right after it.
4 Tempered Steel.
Okay.
4 Vengevines.
Okay.
4 Memnites and Ornithopters.
Okay.
4 of this guy.
Okay. Get you. All right. Just fine. Just throw it all in.
We need a lot of dual lands to make this work.
I mean, they've given us a lot. We got the Fetch lands. We got the Scars lands. Like, we can make it happen. But, you know, with Scrapyard Salvo, reads right into Slag Fiend. And Slag Fiend is one of those cards where, you know, whenever you see all graveyards, the alarm bells start going off for me. Like... That's just like, you know, Tarmogoyf wouldn't have been as near, I hate just bringing up that name because all the connotations that come with it, but Tarmogoyf wouldn't have been near as powerful if it was your graveyard.
What was wrong with Tarmogoyf?
Yeah, that card wasn't overpowered at all. And so, Slag Fiend, you know, just, you know, it's one of those cards that I'm just like, I don't know if it's great, but I just know that the alarm bells go off when I see all graveyards. Unfortunately, it's not all card types and all graveyards, but...
Yeah, I mean, he can get really big, and I don't play a lot of Legacy, but I think this guy could maybe be in Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping somebody else out there like finds this out for me. Like,
Fair.
I mean, I'll tell you what I'm playing at the Legacy Grand Prix right now. I'm playing the same deck I played last year. You know?
Well, that's the beauty of
fun.
Legacy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a lot of fun.
Awesome decks stay awesome year after year. Yeah, Slag Fiend for me is nice, but I don't know if it's really going to get there. It's just a duder.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Slash Panther is awesome just because you can just put, like, Slash Panther. And, like, Aaron Forsythe tweeted that. I thought it was awesome. Like, it's cute. A 4-mana 4/2 haste for any color with 2 life payment, which is nice. Tormentor Exarch, I think, is going to be an all-star unlimited.
Oh yeah, this is another one of those that just you can deal some damage. You can kill a guy like
Pump your infect creature.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this card's really good in limited.
But we got a couple more cards to get to what I think is the best red card in limited. But so let's rush, but not take too little time on the next guy.
Hey, you're a Brask. Hey, your mom's a Brask. That's right.
Ooh, don't talk about my mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just?
All right, this is I'm done.
We're done.
We're done. This is over. Shut it off.
So you're a Brask or a Brask or how are you supposed to?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just know that you're a Brask.
We'll just say what he
funny.
does.
What he does is he's a 4/4 haster for 5. That makes all their guys come in and play tap.
Yeah, so all their Hawks don't block. Man, Hawks are having a tough time these days. Like,
Oh, they've only just wrecked the metagame for 3 months.
you can.
Jeez, those Hawks, man. If only we give them a break, you know? Like, this guy was in a deck from Gavin Parhey. He had like a sort of a Naya build that he put together, and he said it was really impressive in that if you have multiple copies, you just pitch them to Fauna Shaman or whatever, and that powering this guy out on turn 3 with a Lotus Cobra is almost always game over.
Yeah, I
Because,
could see it.
I mean, what are they going to... I mean, you're just like
They come
bashing
into
for
play
6,
tap, you
and then
attack a lot.
all this stuff.
You have to play very defensive without the creatures. Like the Cobblade, if the Cobblade's the enemy,
Sure.
they have to just open on the defensive draw. Like if they draw the aggressive draw, they
Yeah. I mean, you basically have to run out the Gideon so that Urabras doesn't...
if you make Gideon a creature right away, does it tap?
No, because it enters the battlefield. Oh, nice. Just saying. But yeah, I think this card is basically better than a lot of people gave it credit for when it first came out. You know, I think people sort of priced it as like a bulk mythic, you know what I mean? And we're just like, I mean, this card.
I mean, you
does
play
whatever.
you play him attack for 4, you get him really close to dying. The white player can't just Baneslayer.
Yeah.
You know, you get one more turn. It's like
Exactly.
Final Fortune, you know?
Yeah.
Like you get that one more
Practically.
turn to get through their big monsters.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just like, okay, your Imaginary Lines play. You got your Lotus Cobra, you power out your Urabras, and you swing, and then they play something that comes and play tapped, and then you play Vengevine, and that's, what, 10 damage? Like, that's 6 damage originally, and then 10 more? Like,
I mean, why are we powering out Vengevine? This card gives us haste. Why can't we power out? Let's power out an Inferno Titan and deal like 6, 12 damage
if
with
we're
that
going to go to a
card.
Magical Christmas
Yes.
Land, let's just, like, get a CD right there at the fireplace.
Let's not do the one haste guy.
All right, fine. Victorious Destruction, yet another do something, like, get you.
Still think my deck's gonna be awesome.
Oh,
Like my Jason, everything that makes him lose a life.
No, Volt Charge.
Yes.
I mean, God, this card.
I mean, it's so unreal. We don't even have to say anything about this card. Just read it.
Like, instant speed, 3 damage, and proliferate. Like, +1 Koth, get you. Like, Koth gets bigger, ultimate him.
I think this
AJ.
card will be a constructed playable card. Like,
Wow.
I really do.
I think Big Red, I mean, you know, they power out
Everflowing
Chalices,
and they
Tumble Magnets, Koth, Chandra. It's all there. Like,
deal some damage.
wow.
But,
She's so good. All
I
right,
really
that
like
card's
this
so good.
next card.
Really? What is up with this next? Why is everyone excited about Volshark Refugee? I don't get it.
I like having random protections in limited formats.
Huh.
And red is something that does a lot of damage. And I know there's only going to be 1 or 2 other red players on the table, but cards like this just,
Break stalemates. essentially.
yeah, they just appealed to me. I really like it. You kill the non-red guys, and I really like them. I don't know why.
And lastly, Whip Flare. I mean, we have Pyroclasm.
This seems like the kind of card you want to cast in your artifact aggro deck.
I was going to say, in
just go,
Tempered
dude,
Steel,
dude.
this is what you want, right? In Tempered Steel, you're playing out your Hex Parasites and your Legionnaires, and then like your Tempered Steel, and then they play whatever or some Hawks, and you like Whip Flare
Yeah.
them to death and kill you.
I also think that this is the kind of card that I think builds tension in like building with just like let's just look at this block and then once we get rid of Zendikar, because Zendikar is the kind of set like this card is just going to be a Pyroclasm against most of the decks, vampires and Boros and things like that. But once that's all gone, I think this is the kind of card that you have to actually know the metagame really well to know if you're supposed to play with it.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to be dealing with little green monsters or if we're going to be dealing with like scary artifact guys.
Yeah, it kills a lot of elves, no doubt about it. So, so that was our review of all the red cards here in New Phyrexia. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. We will join you here shortly for the green cards.
Green. I love green monsters.
Always like the fatties.